Che paura. Hello everybody.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome to everybody, and thank you for friends that will join this meeting. We have this very amazing opportunity to speak with Teresa Mayr. Thank you, Teresa, to be with us. And with the curator of the exhibition, Teresa, he has prepared for the Trieste Contemporanea space in Trieste. Why Teresa is with us? Because she helps us to celebrate the milestone birthday of our new edition of the Young European Artist Award, which is the 20th this year. So it is a very good birthday. What's happened and why we are online? You all know that during these unprecedented times, all activities, all public events of Trieste Contemporanea are suspended. But we just might say that it is time to restart, and this is a way to do that with a conversation on the works of Teresa that Daniele, which I thank you very much for the work of being the curator of this endeavor. This conversation between Teresa and Daniele. I also welcome my amazing assistants, which are on backstage. Marina Lutman and Elettra Maria Spolverini. They are helping us to make this connection. What is our award, this Trieste Contemporanea Young European Artist Award? It is a call that we make every 2 years, and to which young artists from Central Eastern Europe reply, presenting a portfolio of their new recent works. In this edition, 2019, we received 290 portfolios from 21 countries, and the jury panel met in September because this is the edition of 2019, which it is usual to have in the following year the award, which is the opportunity to make a project for an exhibition in Trieste by the winner. And the jury that this year was formed by Gabriela Cardazzo, a great and historical gallerist, Italian gallerist. She was leading for decades the Cavallino Gallery in Venice. Then there was Janka Vukmir, who is the director of the Institute for Contemporary Art in Zagreb. Then there was an artist, an Italian artist, Emanuela Marassi, and me. And what was the motivation of this awarding? After a long discussion, after having viewed all the portfolio, we decided to give the award to Teresa, because we appreciated in her. I just read the sentence of the made by the jury, because we appreciated in her work of art the sole use of drawing. Then we will speak about that, Teresa. Teresa often uses even large format, very large format drawings. So the sole use of drawings, which is a technique not much frequented today by young artists, and never as the only one way of expression, or in very few examples. The jury specifically finded the choice of this technical drawings, which is dry, architectural. It is a technical drawing, to be particularly effective in the artist's purpose of activating a high emotional transmission of subjectivity, as in the series of the deformed aerial view of the playgrounds of her hometown, which was a work, if I remember well, of 2018, and it was presented in the portfolio. So this idea of technical drawings, and this capability to, it's better that we read just a few sentences, which are somehow in sequence, in a time sequence, because Teresa Mayr wrote in the statement she was, the statement with which she applied the award, that she makes a field research which is to be settled between a subjective view and a technical method. And then in the concept of the exhibition, she somehow marks again that the exhibition focuses on the emotional and psychological relationship to normative environments, because these environments she is depicted, they are very, very peculiar, and Daniele should better than me explain that. So I just wanted to say another to give another news, very interesting in our opinion, because we inaugurate with the exhibition of Teresa Mayr the possibility to see also the exhibitions in our space virtually. We are still working on the assets, on the space. So you have just four examples of images, but from the next week you can enjoy to be virtually in the Gallery of Trieste, but also, and this is the most important information, also physically, because from the next Tuesday we open regularly in Italy. That is allowed, and of course following all the rules for COVID-19 virus, but I invite you from now to go and see this delicious proposal that Teresa gave as a gift to Trieste. So, Daniele, what's about the work of Teresa?
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. I'm very happy to be here. I'm sorry not that this is just an online opening and not a physical opening with the people, but we are forced because of the coronavirus at this situation, and I'm very happy to stay with you. The show is really it's really interesting, and it tried to summarize the research of Teresa Mayr, especially all the pieces are organized in there are different series that are just mixed together on the show. It would be very nice to see from a nice live, but now it's still quite it's still quite problematic to see it just from a virtual reality, but you know, this is just what we are forced to do in our time. The show is great. The show is a bit about drawing. The title is really a really funny title, and Teresa will explain why this title, because it's something which is a very maybe intimate. And all the research of Teresa Mayr is based on drawing, especially drawing, as you can see, that they are very minimal, very similar to architectural drawing, but there are a lot of emotional sides, emotional aspects in the drawings. It's also very interesting, the idea that there is a kind of history of the places, which is just which summarize just the what happened in the present, what happened in the past, and all the traces of the place that we can find on Google Street View, or just online on social network, and pictures shared by people. So it's very peculiar, as in my opinion. I think that we can start to have a talk with Teresa, and so maybe we can start from the very beginning. So, what about your studies, and how you become an artist?
Yeah. So hi, nice. Thanks for having me. I just finished my studies last summer. I graduated at the University of the Arts in Berlin, but I used to study at several other schools before, such like Burg Giebichenstein in Halle in Germany, close to Leipzig, or in Munich at the Academia, and also in Dresden. And I think, well, I always used to draw, and I guess it wasn't so much about the question if I want to become an artist or not. So it was more like searching for a studies or a way, or what kind of artist I wanted to become. So I thought about becoming an stage designer too. But I guess I prefer the free or kind of independent way of living you could choose when you are in fine arts, especially when you do drawing, because you don't need so much stuff, material, and so on. And you're not dependent to workshops, for example. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is how it started.
And how did you choose just urbanism I mean, streets view, and all the places that are just on the border between something that is private and something that is just on public space. Why you focus on that elements?
I think first it's well, I thought it's interesting that you are surrounded by a lot of things, or by an environment from which you think it has something necessary, or that it is built up in a way that is absolutely necessary. But I always like the idea that it's just like an option or like a possibility, and that you find places or things in the, especially in the urban surrounding, that kind of point out this. For example, sometimes, well, it could be just like an really immediately ending pedestrian walk, or that there are sometimes corners that don't have any function at all. And in this environment where everything seems to follow some function, this really triggered me. And well, I live in a city, and I think it has a lot to do with my kind of lifestyle and where I belong to somehow, and so developed to be my main interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you choose the places, and how you try to indicate the history of the places on the internet?
Usually I come to a place, or a place attracts me just because I see it when I'm walking around, or so I have a dog, so I walk a lot, or when I go somewhere with a bike, and it's usually it happens quite spontaneously. And then I start to research, and then I start to go for these walks with a Google Maps Street View, for example. And so I develop this kind of topic or issue then from this very spontaneous starting point, and then I kind of build up a construction and go further with this theme or with this topic, and go to find like a more general way of handling it or seeing it, but for sure out of my personal perspective, because I tend, or I usually although stick to my personal environment, and even though what I just said, that I am going to see it in a more general way, or that I try to lift it up to a more common level. But there are still, or well, I always show like my own places, so the places I know and that I visit a lot, or where I used to live. So yeah.
Yeah, and do you think that it's important just the idea to be a pedestrian? I mean, are you interested in what happens with urbanism or in architecture, or is just something really with the intimate side of our life? So, do you usually are attracted by the buildings, by the blocks and the metric that you can see from Google Street View? So the idea of the maps, the idea of something that you can control and see, or from another point of view?
You mean if I like it to change the view, like using Google Maps or stuff? For sure. And to answer the kind of beginning of the question, I'm really interested in the architectural stuff and buildings, and how urban structures determine the moving in the city, for example, and the way you walk or go or drive or whatever, and how it's kind of influencing us. So, for example, that you sit down at a place where there is a how do you call it, a place for sitting, and there is a place of sitting, and this is a place to sit down. Then, and if there is so you follow the street in the way it goes and turns and traces, and this is what I think is really interesting. And also like these decisions that are taking that have been taken in a kind of city construction. So what is going to be left? What is going to build up new or destroyed? Yeah, it's quite political then, but
yeah. It's very strange because it's something between your personal feeling as a pedestrian, as a citizen, and the place that is just the city that is just the place of everyone.
yeah,
But at the same time, is something that is just that has a political meaning. Because the garden can be the way we approach the garden, the green spaces between all the blocks, the buildings, the park in a public space. They are just the center of the of political discussion. Usually, when they try to build a new block, there are a lot of citizens. They are discussing if it's okay or not, yeah. So it's particular because it has two different sides. One more intimate and one more that referring to the political issues. Let's talk about the style of your drawing. The style of drawing, as Juliana explained before, they are just very minimal. You use a lot pencil and felt pen. And why you choose this kind of very, very, dry drawing?
Because what I like about the drawing, and especially like drawing with only pencils, for example, or with the colored pencils also, it's a really immediate working process. So I'm not sure if there are so many other ways of expressing something in such an short distanced way between thinking and then showing something. And why I have this this kind of empty or sober stroke, if you can say it like this. It's because I guess so I'm handling a lot of really intimate topics, and they deal with memories and childhood and so on, and with using these really minimalistic style, it gives them, or it pretends the images to be like objective ones, and gives them kind of an general truth. And so this is why I work like this, because there is this twist between personal view and pretending a kind of objective environment or reality.
Yeah. Okay. And what about how did you choose a subject? If you choose one particular side of a building or just one corner, which are the reason why you choose that particular element in the map of a city?
Well, for example, these huge drawings we could see right now, they are the places where I used to live. And
sorry, there are just a kind of relation that you have with these places. Okay.
Yeah, it's the relationship we have to these places and how it because, for example, what I just said with the huge drawings, you could also see them in the virtual reality afterwards. It's I thought it's interesting how different the feeling for an environment is. So, for example, that in the place you've been grown up, for example, I always figured out that that my memory about our garden is that it seemed to be much bigger than it was actually, you know, so that the relations and of space and of places and distances, that it's really changeable and relative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about these proportions and about the feeling you have in a certain place. And this is also kind of the answer how I pick out the images I used to, or what I'm showing then in my drawings. It's a really spontaneous process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And do you usually collect a lot of images of one place? I mean, just pictures that you take with your mobile or your camera, images that you can find on internet or so researching on the social networks and Google Street View. How did you combine all these materials?
Actually, I don't collect so many pictures because I guess I have a quite good imagery of like rooms and virtual stuff in general, and so I just collect some, and then my works are kind of a construction between like memories, like some pictures I've taken, and in the end there is a huge fictive part too. So they are no realistic picturing from reality. They are constructions, because it's about a feeling, and it's about the feeling you have in a place or in a space, and the associations you take or you have with being in the place.
Yeah. Okay, I see. And what about the new series that that are called folk folk fests?
Yeah.
There's it's something which is quite different from the other for the other drawing. Not about the style, but I was about the subject that you selected. And they are just places in which you can find all the people place the space in which people go to have just to stay and to have some fun. And what about them?
Well, I think they are kind of normative places too, because it's something like Volksfeste, or like these I don't really know the word in English, but so these kind of fun, temporary fun areas, they are also generalized and normative, and so it really attracts me out of this point of view. But the story behind these drawings is that I've been in such a place in Berlin, like in the eastern part of Berlin, or the earlier eastern part, and it was kind of horrible or touching, because well, you know, it's a really loud surrounding, and it's really colorful, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And then I just saw a man dying down there in this crowd, you know, because he had kind of a heart attack or whatever. And it was, you wouldn't have realized it when you wouldn't have seen it. So even if you would have been just like 1 or 2 meters away, just because it was, you know, everything was loud and fun and so on. And this is something that really made me think about it for a while. And this is why they have also these kind of like frog perspective, so that you have this view, from down, because I well, try to imagine this perspective, or from this man who was laying down there in this crowd.
Okay, and I have a feeling, looking at them, that they are not just so. There's not that kind of energy that usually you can find in the amusement park, but just they are they have a little sadness, a little of
Mm.
melancholy in them, as they were just the last day, as it was the last day on the earth, or just the last day before something happened. It reminds
Yeah.
me what I saw about after the Chernobyl disaster, and you can find that there was a lot of a lot of in the amusement park. You can find still all the places are empty. Yeah, it's I have this kind of feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Eh,
And just a last question, because I think that we are expected just to finish. We have just
mhm.
30 more than 30 minutes. Last question is about the title of the show. It's
Yeah.
really strange. Uh, 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 when I saw when I read for the first time, I was not. I've never understood in my life the word onager, and
Mm.
I found on the internet there was a is is really a strange animal.
Mhm.
Uh, it looks funny. Could you explain why you choose this animal and
Yeah,
what animal
sure.
it is, and also why you choose this title? That is something that is just in your head from a lot of years.
Yeah, sure. But first, I just looked up the definition of the onagar, and it could also be that it is an Asian donkey, but it's also a weapon out of the Imperial Roman time, because the weapon tends to work like the donkey hits with his back leg. I found out. But well, my title, my onagar, is about the animal, and the title comes from or there is this anecdote that my parents and my sister and me, we spent it like a day in a zoo. I come from Bavaria originally, so it was the zoo in Augsburg. And my sister and me, she's younger, and we did this kind of game. So if I was an animal, what kind of animal would I be? And yeah, this is what she asked me, and I said, yeah, you would be one of these onagars. And she absolutely didn't like it, because she wanted to be more like a more elegant animal, like a maybe peacock or wildcat. And so it was a terrible day then, because she was really upset being an onagar. So this is why the exhibition is called I Don't Wanna Be a Onagar. And I choose this title because it was also more like a spontaneous idea, and it was in the time when I did drawings that handle zoos, because I like the idea of these animal places or animal areas to see as kind of staged rooms. And so I just did the connection with this sentence from this experience or with my sister.
Yeah,
And I guess she likes it.
yeah, it's very interesting that something that is just that was just on the memory and still and you just kept from that and just put it on the as a title. It's really this is very it's very interesting from you that you mix something that belongs to your intimacy, but also to the past with something that happens in the present.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess this is what my work is about somehow.
yeah. Okay, I think that we are going to finish, and I think that Juliana will do the last speech. And so thank you, really thank you, Teresa. We are.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit not in the right situation because I'm the only with hair on the head. So next time I will raise.
You will shave.
Yeah, shave. But yes, something that we didn't say is that we will have a catalog, and this conversation is the starting point for a brilliant interview we will publish, and we will present at the finissage of the exhibition, which will last till July. So whoever wants to meet the exhibition physically, you are very welcome. Thank you very much, Teresa, and Daniele. You are always impertinent interviewer. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you soon. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.